This is the First Alert 2.5 pound ABC dry chemical fire extinguisher, and in this video I will be giving you my review of it, as well as telling you some of the features and details about the extinguisher and using it on a real fire. These extinguishers are very popular for houses. I see them advertised a lot for, residential uses, and most hardware stores sell them, and some online retailers do too. They go for around $25, which I think for that price is good for a basic use fire extinguisher. So of course you can use these in homes, but they are also advertised to be used in small commercial settings. And they are also advertised to be rechargeable, which basically means after you use the extinguisher, you can get a local fire extinguisher company to refill them and be ready for the next fire. Some other features with this extinguisher is it is good for the three most common types of fires. That is Class A, Class B, and Class C. And it has a 2.5 pound capacity, which is good for supplemental protection. It has this pressure gauge here, which will indicate the pressure of the extinguisher. And normally these are at 195 psi, but if the extinguisher ever leaks or is partially used, this gauge will go down and indicate to you you need to either replace the extinguisher or get it refilled. It has this nozzle here, which you can use to aim at the fire. It has a pin, which pretty much acts like a safety, so the extinguisher cannot be accidentally used. And then there's this little tag here, which is a tamper seal to prevent the pin from falling out. But if you ever need to use the fire extinguisher, and when you pull this pin, this seal breaks. Something else I will mention is this is not the original seal. The one I had for this extinguisher originally broke, so I got a replacement for it, but it's pretty much identical to the ones that First Alert uses. This bottom handle here kind of moves a little bit. It has a steel cylinder, which is very durable, and these handles here are steel, not plastic. There's the instruction label, which is very legible. It tells you how to use the extinguisher. Here is some information on the side about how to perform maintenance and what to do after you use the fire extinguisher. On the opposite side is some more information. The model of this fire extinguisher is FE1A10GR195, and it was manufactured in 2015, which as of me recording this video is 9 years old. But this extinguisher has been in its box for pretty much its entire life. It's never been installed before. And just so you know, First Alert has not changed their fire extinguisher line since this was produced, so it's pretty much identical to a modern First Alert unit. Other than that, it's an okay extinguisher. I think it's decent. It also comes with a wall bracket if you decide to mount it, which I would recommend you do so you know where it's at. And you screw this into the wall and then snap the extinguisher on here and then pull down these two straps and click them together like that so it's secure, and if you ever need to use it, you pop that out and pull and it's ready to go. So that's pretty much everything about this First Alert fire extinguisher. So now I will tell you a bit of my personal experience with these extinguishers. The first is with these handles. I have seen if these fire extinguishers are kept outside or in wet or damp locations, this black paint will chip and cause these steel handles to rust, which eventually makes the fire extinguisher unusable. But I don't know if that's a fault of this extinguisher or whoever chooses to keep them outside or in wet locations. That's up to you to decide, but I just thought I'd mention that. Additionally, about the entire recharge advertisement that these extinguishers offer. So with most fire extinguishers, and I say most, it's really all of them, that are rechargeable, the manufacturer provides replacement parts for the fire extinguisher companies to use to get them refilled, properly refilled. But First Alert does not offer these parts, so most fire extinguisher companies will refuse to recharge these for that reason. I have heard of some instances where there are a few fire extinguisher companies out there that will recharge them, but you aren't guaranteed the extinguisher will work because they do not use the correct parts. But if I'm honest with you, this is 25 bucks, and the cost of recharging one of these is probably around that, if not more. So in my opinion, I would rather just buy a new one instead of getting it refilled. But that's just me. So anyways, I think that is everything I wanted to mention about this extinguisher. We will now test it on a real fire. The test will have two types of fires. The first is a Class A fire, which consists of this cardboard box and paper, and the next is a Class B fire, which consists of a flammable liquid in a tin container, and the liquid is gasoline that is 15 years old, but it's still very flammable. The first alert extinguisher successfully put out the fire, and it was almost instant too, as you saw. Of course there's a bit of a mess, but that comes with any fire extinguisher. For this last segment of the video, I wanted to give you my final thoughts of the extinguisher and share some of the pros and cons I see of it. I also wanted to open it up just to see the parts on the inside, and then I will wrap up the video. So of course the extinguisher was able to successfully put out both classes of fire. I did like the all-metal handle assembly, and it worked well, and the top handle here, the discharge handle, was very comfortable on my thumb. You can kind of see it has the, I guess, footprint for a thumb, and the spring on the inside that releases the extinguisher is it's got some strength to it. It's not hard to discharge, but at the same time it was able to I was able to throttle the extinguisher on and off. And I will mention about that, when you use a fire extinguisher, you should just constantly spray until the extinguisher is discharged fully, or the fire is out, which I guess even still it wouldn't hurt to continue to use the extinguisher to make sure the fire's fully out. But the reason I was starting and stopping discharging is I was testing this valve. I have seen on some fire extinguishers, when you depress the handle and then let go, they stay discharging. You can't stop them. And I found that with a couple extinguishers I've used before, and I've heard about issues with that. So I wanted to see if this extinguisher had a problem, but my particular one didn't have that issue at all, which is great. I will mention too, I'm kind of just naming things off as they come to me. I don't really care a whole lot for this bottom handle. It's not bad, it's just a little awkward to hold. I guess it's so thin, but overall it's okay. I will mention something else I really did not like is the pin. Again, when they seal them from the factory, as you've noticed, it's down like this, so I was kind of struggling a little bit. Of course, I know that with this extinguisher, I know I kind of had to flip it up, but your average user, they might kind of fight with it because it's, you know, sealed down in this position, so trying to get your finger around it to pull. I wish they kind of raised it maybe to like here or somewhere else to be easier to pull. But overall, it was a pretty good operation, I'd say. And let's see if I can twist this extinguisher open now, and we will check out the inside of it. There's going to be some powdery bits too that come out. So here's the actual assembly here. It's a metal siphon tube, which is very good to see. Some cheaper extinguishers are plastic, and I might need to get a wrench to crack that open. I will just use a pair of pliers to see if I can snap this open. I think I just bent the bottom handle. Well, that took a lot more effort than I thought. I actually bent this bottom handle and I tried to fix it. But we will unscrew the siphon tube, and there we have the actual valve, if I can get it out. There it is. I just wanted to clean it off so I could show you this, but I just noticed this valve is covered in grease, which is a good thing. It keeps the operation of the extinguisher pretty smooth, which is another good thing to see. There's the valve, your two O-rings, and it's a fully metal valve. It looks like it's an aluminum. And here's the actual assembly here. Not too much to look at. And then the inside of the cylinder, again, nothing else to see. And there's the spring. So overall, the inside components look great. I am happy to see this metal siphon tube and a decent quality spring, as well as the grease on the valve. That's a good touch. To wrap up this video, I'd like to say overall, this is an okay extinguisher, especially for the price point. If you have a home or other residential setting, I think it would be fine. I wouldn't trust it for anything commercial. You definitely have better options out there. Plus, I would be nervous that a fire extinguisher company, when they are doing their servicing or recharging, wouldn't use the correct parts, which, would compromise the extinguisher's performance. It might not work like it was designed to, or the fire extinguisher company might just deny servicing it altogether. But if you want a fire extinguisher for your house or something else like a boat or RV, and you don't have the biggest budget for one, you don't want to spend a lot of money, which makes sense, I think you can't go wrong with this extinguisher. It is fine for its price point. But I wouldn't say it's the best out there. There's other options you can find, but it's okay, again, for $25. So I believe that is everything I wanted to talk about with this First Alert 2.5 pound ABC dry chemical fire extinguisher. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or anything you would like to add to this video, please leave them in the comment section below. I'd be happy to read anything you have to say. And yeah, I have some other videos on my YouTube channel if you'd like to check them out, if you enjoy videos like this. And I greatly appreciate it. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.